Alright, so here we're going to review of the Shozy Magma. This is a 2 EST, 1 BA, and 1 dynamic driver IEM for $500. And yeah, let's get into this. So it actually comes in a really small box. It is $500. And for a $500 IEM, one of the smaller boxes I've seen, but I kind of like it. Nice and compact. It just says Shozy. Open that up. Take this part out. Get a case. Weird hexagon shaped case, but it's relatively compact. I like the size. This comes in two variations, one with an upgraded cable that's like a nicer, thicker cable, one that is what we're gonna see here, which is a thin silver colored cable. I actually like this thinner cable because it can fit in like small spaces like this. It's good for portable use. But most people tend to have a pretty negative opinion about these kind of thinner looking cables, thinner cables, I mean, just not looking, they are thinner. But I like these thin cables. I don't know, I have no problems with this one. It stays relatively straight for a thin and light cable, and there seems really to be no issues with it for me, so I think the cable's alright. I don't think that this cable really has much issues at all, so I like this cable. The case is a little bit thick, but overall it's small, compact, good for portability. Alright, and then in here we have the tips. Let's open that up. Have the this bag tips here, and then we have like the tips they expect you to use first with these, which is in this like little card classical thing that you see with a ton of IEMs. Okay, so let's go on to the build. These are a really small IEM for an EST. For reference, here is the Penon the 10th edition comparison in size, and there's only one more driver, actually no, two more drivers in this Penon IEM, and the size difference is uncanny. Like, look at that. Here's the audio Hekeli I reviewed in my last video for a size comparison. It's a nice compact size housing, but that doesn't mean that it's comfortable. I do also want to say that this faceplate, it does look like the Monarch on camera, but it's actually a lot brighter colors. But yeah, it's definitely inspired by the Monarch, I'd say. And, you know, awful IEMs also have this foiling look to them. Okay, back to what I was saying. It may look small, but being small does not mean it is comfortable, sadly. This nozzle is one of the thickest nozzles I've had in IEM. I can't really get a good reference here. Let's see if this... Yeah, there you go. This is a good reference point for you to see if my camera would focus. This is a lot thicker than the Audio Hekeli's nozzle, which is not exactly thin, but it's, you know, much thinner than that. Let me get the, let's see, let's try the Penon's nozzle here, trying to take the tips off here. Get off, there we go. The Penon may look thicker on camera, but I'm telling you, that nozzle on this, it's thicker. And it's much more uncomfortable. I don't know what it is by shape. I mean, like, the 10th, actually, now that I see it, the nozzle looks thicker. But I guess it doesn't go as deep in your ear. Like, you see how this has, like, a very small insertion depth? This one going all the way in your ear. This is just more uncomfortable for me. This is actually quite uncomfortable to use. I would not recommend this on comfort. Even though it's a small IEM and I have small ears, so I was like, oh, finally, like a really comfortable tribrid. But no, this was very uncomfortable for me with this deep insertion depth and thick nozzle. Okay, now let's talk about sound. Sound with both these tips sounded pretty similar, if not the same, and with spin fits as well. Also, almost no comfort differences. I'd say these tips were more comfortable than the other two, so I just stuck with these tips the whole time. So we're going to talk about sound with these tips. And, well, there's not much to talk about because these sound terrible. Awful. Probably one of the worst tribrids I have heard. Like, down there with the EST-112 for me. It's bright, shouty. Now, on the good aspects of it, right, it has a great soundstage and very good imaging. I'd say, like, top-notch. Up there with, you know, not really with the Phantom, but close. Here's the Phantom for comparison. close size too. So you see, the Phantom can be small and has more drivers than this. So it's not like that's, oh my god, you have to get this for its size. No, the size is a cool, great thing that they managed, but this nozzle ended it for me. Also, weird thing that there's foam in there, but I don't know. Okay, but the stage is excellent. Stage, you know, you got like pretty good stage. Not as wide as the Phantom, but it's wider than the 10th here. It's wider than the 10th edition. It's wider than it's wider than the Hekeli. I'd say it's wider than the what's it called? Awful Performer 8. It's pretty great stage, which is impressive for something this small. Imaging is also fantastic. You can pinpoint things in the stage pretty well. But the problem is the highs. They're shrill. They're in your face. They're shouty. And the mid-range is thin and raspy, but also somehow shouty and it's really forward, which I like forward mid-range, but this is like forward in a bad way, like someone's yelling at you. This is like yelling in your face. It's just awful with like a really rough sounding texture, just poor quality all around. The only normal thing about this IEM is the bass. The bass is good quality. It's got punch. It's probably on the less emphasized size of end on like out of most IEMs. You know, it doesn't have as much bass as the Phantom, but it's like a little bit less than the Phantom. It's like got it's more than the Performer 8, less than the Phantom. It's just somewhere in that range. It's got good bass, good quality, but the rest, everything else. So it's got soundstage, imaging, and bass. The rest is terrible. I cannot recommend this at any price almost. I mean, like, cause it's just uncomfortable to listen to. I just kept trying to listen to these, and I was like, man, are my sinuses still bad? Listening to everything else sounds great to fine. Everything else I have sounds good. And then put these in my ears, and oh my god, I don't want to listen to music for the rest of the day. It's fatiguing, shouty. The details there, it's got great detail to be honest, but the tuning is bad, the presentation is bad, the texture is bad, everything else sucks. And I don't know what else to say. That's pretty much it for this review. See ya.